Welcome back to the Timechasers Trackmania Challenger Series. I am your host SRK, and we'll soon be starting our show match. Before we starting off, we will have a quick summary of the format that we'll be soon seeing. The match will be happening in team mode 1v1. Maps will be played in best of 9. Players will play till 5 points. The team who will reach the 5 points first will win the map. And the whole entire match will be played till 3 map wins. Map order will be tech map first, then dirt map, full speed, and if it's gonna be necessary, then mini RPG and Nadio map as the tiebreaker. Our players for the first showcase of the format will be Team Alpha, with players Wuffeli, who plays with the keyboard and camera 2, and Yekcosdo from Portugal, he plays keyboard and cam 1. And their opponents in the show match will be Team Beta. It's gonna be Justin from Poland, he plays with keyboard as well and camera 2. And his partner will be Kaspa from Lithuania, and he also plays keyboard and camera 2. It's quite unusual to see that there's 3 keyboard players who play with cam 2. Feels like that's a bit of an oddity nowadays, but everyone has their own preferences. Soon we'll be starting our match, and we should be soon getting back into the game. So, heading into the game, here we'll have our match. We'll be starting on the tech map, and from what I have understood, it's gonna be Yekcosdo playing for Team Alpha, and it's gonna be Salty Kaspa playing for Team Beta. Every single match will have one warm-up that will consist of around 50 to 40 seconds. It's gonna be used to swap out players in the actual matches, but here, or to warm up the map for the map itself. Approximate match length will be around 25 minutes to 50 minutes in the worst case scenario, or I think it's better to call it in the most intense case scenario. The map by itself is by Rocket, and it's one of the very first submissions that we have received. And it's a very nice tech map, but let's see how all the players do. And we'll be starting our match very soon. Alright, when we're heading into the very first round of the showcase match, and it's gonna be Kaspa from Lithuania and playing for Team Beta against Yekcosdo from Portugal and playing for Team Alpha. The matches, both of them are themselves claim as tech players, and we do see that Yekcosdo is already in a 0.2 lead on the very first opening of the map. Even though he did release the save the button, and looks like he did got a minor bump from a speed penalty, and he failed, even though he had a very good comeback from the one turn, and that gives Kaspa a pretty easy point in this match. These players have only have just 2 hours to practice for the show match, so they don't have too much big of an advantage over all of the other players, and so we won't see the top tier times, but we can still see a very nice matchup already in the very first stream and the very first presentation of the show match. As we head into the second round, we do see that Yekcosdo is already having another 0.2 lead, but we'll see if he does. He's very inconsistent as a player, and we do see that he wants to save it up, and is already 0.3 behind, or having a very massive gaps already, and even 0.6, but he can still push it, and Kaspa being a bit more from the slower side of the players, he can still, Yekcosdo still can clutch it out, but coming on the very last few turns, we do see that Kaspa will take the point for another point for Team Beta. And heading into the round 3, we're starting off that Yekcosdo has been managed to pull the first 3 rounds in a small lead, but we'll see if he will be able to do that, and we do see that yes, he does have get better starts than Kaspa all the time, but his inconsistencies in the later half and the mid part of the map are the ones that are a bit damaging into his performance, as we do see here that he all the time gets like a very awkward the gear and the nose slide up immediately, but this time he had managed a bit better on, but Kaspa is still in the lead, and this looks like it's gonna be actually a bit closer round, and looks like if Kaspa does not mess up the end, it might go around to him, and it's gonna be 3-0 for Kaspa. With this format, a very unique thing can happen only in these kind of when the team mode is used, and that is a reverse sweep. And even though Salty Kaspa can reach even 4 points in this round, that doesn't mean he has basically won the map. And we have tested out the format a couple of times, and we have had so many reverse sweep scenarios where the players have an insane comeback from 0-4 losing to winning the map. And that's gonna be one of the biggest charms that I think we will see in this event, as we do see that Yekcosdo at the very time he managed to be in the lead, he messes up, and no way! Okay, looks like this is not the day for Yekcosdo, as we do see that his consistency is not at the top tier position. And we do see finally the 0-4 that we saw previously. Not very good performance from consistency side from Yekcosdo. And this format does show punishing. It's just a head-to-head. It's only you and the opponent. So you need to play very smart and see what the opponent is doing. Is he risking? Is he pushing? And you have to kind of analyze what the other opponent is doing. And in these head-to-head scenarios, it's very important to have like this other player's awareness. To see who will be to save or to risk, and just like that, we do see that Kaspa will be taking this Kaspa as he completely sweeps map 1 and getting first point to Team Beta. Now we're heading on into the dirt map. Dirt map is made by Insanity, and as you can see, it uses a lot of TM2 blocks. There's not many actually of the blocks used in the actual driving route from the actual TM 2020 blocks. Most of the blocks are used custom, since this is meant to have this a bit upper edge to the players who have been a bit experienced in the TM2 and TMNF dirt style. and give a bit of tiny bit advantage of all of the years they have pre-trained before this. Overall, the map is really nice, and I think we'll see some really nice battles from the top tier players. Anyway, moving on to the show match, we do see that Wuffeli will be playing for Team Alpha. Kaspa will be playing as well in as the dirt map, as he played in the tech map. Maybe he can as well sweep this 5-0 this map 5-0, as we do see that Wuffeli has had a small let's say just a small touch that, but even with this is a bit rip for Wuffeli, and because there were some tiny parts in this map where you do need a bit of a speed to make it a bit smooth, just like the old days. And just like that, we will see that Kaspa will take another point in this head-to-head 1v1 on the dirt. One thing to mention is that the new remade TM2 blocks in TM20 do behave a bit differently. They're not like 100%, they're a bit like 80%. Like in how they behaved in TM2 and TMNF, but they still have the idea that if you still know the lines from TM2, that will give a small upper edge. And anyway, in this round we do see that Wuffeli is actually going in a small lead against Kaspa, and we do see that it might be actually, yes, coming down to the Wuffeli and having the score 1-1. Putting up a small challenge to the Kaspa as well, showing that it's not going to be a one-sided match that we're going to see today on the Timechasers TCS Twitch channel. And in the round 3, let's see, we have that Wuffeli is small upper edge, having just like 0.1 advantage, but one thing with these uphills is that you lose a bit more speed than in TM2 and TMNF, so that might throw off some people who have muscle memory from the older blocks, as we see that Kaspa had a bit better exit speed, but he got a cure down there, so he did not manage to gain that much. And in these uphills, it's gonna be, if you have played Dirt 2 a lot, then it's gonna be really close round, and it's a really close round, just 5 milliseconds, 5 tenths, not 5 tenths. What am I saying? You know, it was very close round, and it's actually giving the small lead to Team Alpha. Mirror starting up, we do see that Wuffeli is again in a small lead over Kaspa, but Kaspa still having a bit better exit speed, managing to close in it, and even cutting up and taking the lead for a split second over Wuffeli. But let's see how he does manage this, and he still managed to keep the 0.2 lead. If he does not, I think he got a speed penalty from that landing, and that might give a free win to Wuffeli. Actually, that round was way closer than I expected, only 300s in the difference. Well, Kaspa taking the risky line, but it was not good enough. Anyway, we have 3-1 score on the dirt map. This might be the chance for Wuffeli to even out the score, as it looks like that Kaspa had a very slow start, and he looks like he got a small gear down from the very first turn. That gives Wuffeli a 0.3 advantage already in the mid-map section. But let's see, we have seen that Wuffeli is not very consistent in this part, and Kaspa managed to get very good exit speed in this section. And we do see we see it again, and that gives Kaspa a small, let's say, catch-up. And they're basically even from here, and let's see who will take it, and Kaspa yoinks by less than 100th, by having a very tighter line, and that will give a point to Team Beta. Now with 3-2, it's getting pretty intense on this map. Rounds are very close, and I can't wait to see when the top tier dirt players will be duking it out on this map. It's gonna be ridiculous, because we're already seeing that the paces has been very close, and I think Wuffeli had a small gear down on the uphill, and that gives us Kaspa already a small advantage, but looks like No, actually he somehow managed. Looks like that he touched the ball on my screen, but we still have 0.4 difference. But oh no, Kaspa touched the ball, and that will give a chance to Wuffeli, and Wuffeli will surely take that one round, and now getting him the map point on the very end. Now it's gonna be 4-2 map point for Team Alpha. Can Wuffeli take it, or can Kaspa make a sick reverse sweep? Actually, finally a good start from Kaspa. Of course, as soon as I say that, the good old caster scores comes in and ruins the day. It's already 0.6, but we have seen that Kaspa still can manage that. He has very good exit speed from this part. All the time it's a bit iffy going on for Wuffeli. So anything can still happen, but it does look like this might be Wuffeli's points unless he saves the uphill, and the Kaspa risks it, and it's gonna be a point for Wuffeli, and that's gonna be a map point as well for Team Alpha. Now entering the FS map, we are entering with the score 1-1. I am kinda interested since I don't really recognize any of these players as FS players, but let's see what will be the players who will see, and what will the players be able to bring. This map has a very hard risky pin. At least when we tested out the maps, this one had one of the trickiest risky finishes on the map, so this might be a very interesting place. The good thing about this map, even if you like mess up the risky finish, there is a very like not so punishable. I think that's a very good way to phrase it. Basically, not so punishing a safe finish. So even if you don't get the risky finish, you still have a chance to take safely the safe win. And it looks like both of the players will be ghost. There's a very risky line that you can take, is jumping on the left of the pole. It's a bit faster line, but it's ridiculously tight, and you need to have very good speed slides beforehand to even make it. So I don't think that players of these caliber will actually go for it, but even though making the risky finish at the end will be very well. Let's see. Anyway, coming up on the first round on the FS map, we see that Wuffeli has a minor lead, but it all comes down to the speed slides and how you maintain the speed throughout the entire map. We do see that Justin is a tiny bit bit behind, only 300s. And starting from here, this is the part where speed sliding becomes very important. And this jump, especially if you can land it in a very good speed slide, you can maintain way more speed than is possible, and it's very important for the exit slide. And we do see that Wuffeli is a bit ahead, but Justin goes for a tighter line, and it's Wuffeli does make it with only 100 of a difference. That's a very close round. I think if you push it like to the max, you can make it a super risky line on the left side of the pole. That saves a bit, and we already see that Wuffeli doesn't have one of the best starts. Already 0.8 behind. On this kind of map, it's gonna be really tight. It literally all comes down to who can do the best speed slides and do the best perfect lines as possible. Wuffeli has a very good approach to the speed drift and has a lot closer line. Justin meanwhile is still attacking and still on the back of the car, going for the bit wider exit for the speed slide, and that gives him the extra speed that he needs. And let's see who will go for the line, and Justin takes a bit tighter line, and it will be a point for Team Beta, making it 1-1. Third round on the FS map. Let's see. The start of the very first map, I think when players will learn it, you can take it also super tight, but it's very easy to get a small airtime, so there's already a big risk potential to lose a bit of time at the start. Wuffeli taking an interesting outside line to gather more speed and reduce airtime, as we do see that Justin taking the tighter approach does lose quite a bit, and that does not give him enough speed to make the small bump, and Wuffeli crashes. He tries to risk it for the tight line, and it's sadly not gonna be enough, and this might be an easy point for Justin. Of course, he can still a bit mess up the finish, but it's gonna be a 3 points for Team Beta. Small upper range already for Team Beta, but it's still pretty close, and we do have seen that the rounds are also pretty close. And yes, speaking of close rounds, we do see that Wuffeli does crash and gives already a pretty big handicap to Justin with having over 1 second time difference. And since Justin already has built up quite a bit of speed, that's like already 2 seconds. But anything can still happen. You can still sometimes reevaluate and save it a bit, but maintaining very good speed from this. If you save too much, you can't have enough speed to make it on the easy lines. But we do see that Justin still takes the easy point for Team Beta. You always see that Justin will be able to take the map point for Team Beta, and it looks like no. A small touch, a bit annoying touch at the start of the map, very frustrating usually. This gives a bit of a free round possibility for Wuffeli, but we have seen that Wuffeli still manages to blow it on the later parts of the map, risking a bit for the bit faster time, even though it's might not come out as the more favorable option. But it looks like this is gonna be a 3 point for Team Alpha, and Wuffeli did capitalize and played out on the situation very well. At least trying to avoid the walls as much as possible to secure at least 1 more point for Team Alpha. This race is getting a bit closer, maybe due to the lack of consistency, but points are still points. So every single mistake that you do, every single release, save strat, or risky finish impacts the result of the outcome quite a bit, since it's only you that are representing the team and the other player who you want to beat. So you have to play very smart and analyze the other opponent, or just go full ham and just YOLO it all the time. But sometimes the other player can see that you're risking, maybe he will save it just in case, and then will benefit from that moment. As we do see a very good speed slide from Justin. Can he deny it? And sadly no, only 100th of a second. But this will be a map point for map. Now we're coming up to the map point. No, it was Wuffeli actually. Never mind. Okay, so a bit misread that. No worries, but still a good round coming out from the both players. We have 3-3 close matchup already. We're seeing on the maps Justin trying to take that bit inside line, but he is having a small penalty with TR time that benefits Wuffeli a bit more speed. And I think that will give also Wuffeli a better chance for this line, that will give him a better entrance on the speed rift section. It already has 0.1, but Justin has a bit better speed slide, and that will give him a bit more extra speed, but will it be enough to deny? We have seen that oh no, he crashes. He did have a bit more speed, but it didn't happen. Actually a decent time from Wuffeli there, 38.9. I think in the actual group stages we will see a bit faster times, of course. But for these caliber players, I think there's still pretty solid times. Anyway, this is already a map point for Team Alpha. Can Justin deny it and pull down the 4v4 4-4 result and potentially make a map in? Let's see. Oh no, and it looks like unless Wuffeli does make it, this might be a free point for Team Alpha. But we never know. Anything can still happen. It's fairly inconsistent to do. It's very hard to be consistent on these kind of maps, especially full speed maps, so consistency is very rewarded, and we do see that. And the Wuffeli has been the more consistent player here, and he will secure a point for Team Alpha. So we're gonna be coming up on the, let's say, more fun maps. We're coming up on the RPG map. This map has been made by Rocket, and I will say this map is a pretty challenging RPG map. It might not be hard to drive through, but I think it's gonna be really hard to drive fast, and especially in a pressured competition 1v1 environment. The map might be a bit confusing to know where to go at first, but with a bit of practice and with some bit better lines, it can be relatively consistent. And there's a lot of like riskier sections that benefit the player pushes a bit. So we will see. And looks like it's gonna be Justin and Wuffeli playing this one as well. So we will see the Paul against the Finn again. Reminder, this is map point. If Wuffeli manages to win this map, it will be a point for Team Alpha. Also, a small reminder that we do still have registrations open, and registrations close for the next tomorrow's evening. So you still have the chance to register or find a team on the events Discord, but you can still play solo or find some partners as well, and have a very good time and try your best in the qualification to see if you can make it to the group stages. Anyway, we're still coming out on the very first round on the RPG map, and we do see already a very close round, only 200s between the players, and we do see that I think Justin hit the slow motion block. Did not have the best line for the jump, but if he can push it a bit, then I think he still can make it. But with the small clip on the small balance board section, that will be a safe point for Wuffeli and the opening point on this map for Team Alpha. Coming up on the second round. Again, both players managing to do the very first jump quite well. Justin having a bit better start, but Wuffeli having a bit better exit speed from the very first jump section. And this part is a bit tighter than it looks actually. So it's a bit monkastier. But coming up on the wallbang section, we do see that Wuffeli has managed to snag back the lead a bit. But Justin having a bit better exit speed and having a bit riskier lights as well, trying to risk it for the few milliseconds that are very important in this 1v1 matchup. Match being only all the time just 0.1, and Wuffeli sadly full bonks in the wall and gives a free map win to Justin. Round 3 on the mini RPG map. 1-1 score for Team Alpha and 1 point for Team Beta. On the very first jump, we do see that Wuffeli goes for the outside approach a bit, trying to get a bit inside line, but he clips a bit, and I don't think that will be enough for him to make it. Yep, that's looks like a free point for Justin, unless he managed to make the jumps all properly. And it looks like it might be the freeze point, and kind of like the saving grace, I guess, even for the Team Beta. Trying to do their best to go to the map 5, and we do see the tiebreaker on the Nadio map. Wait. Anyway, anything still can happen, and we do see that Wuffeli Justin made a mistake, and that gives Wuffeli actually the benefit of the situation, and he actually does manage to get a point on the map. But yeah, this map is very punishing. One big mistake not only can lose you just few hundreds, but they can lose a second. So mistake on the RPG map is very costly, unlike the FS Tech map. On Tech map, one mistake can cost you around 0.6, 0.4. One mistake here can lose you seconds, and on the FS map is also kind of the same thing, just in going for the very risky inside line. And that gives him a small bit advantage on by 0.4, but we did see that Justin went for this very risky inside line, but it doesn't seem like he's trying to save it a bit, knowing that he has a comfortable lead, and Wuffeli having a sick exit speed. Holy shit, from where did he get that? And that gives him a free point on the match. That was insane. That was insane exit speed. Damn. Probably someone taking notes on how to do that turn properly, because that was insane exit speed there, right there. And that gives a very deserved point for Wuffeli and Team Alpha in that part. Again, we do see that Justin is in the lead, but Wuffeli has a very good... He manages still somehow all the time squeeze in the very good wins. Justin all the time is very good at the start of the map, but Wuffeli still managed to be a bit better on the end of the map. And even though he's like tiny bit behind, like his execution with this outside line that can give him a way more XP. Ah, no, he got a gear down. The boy risked a bit, and sadly the risk did not pay off, and that's a point for Justin. I think that's the main reason why probably Wuffeli did bonk those few rounds. He tried to go for that perfect exit speed, but we do see that's a pretty risky line, and doing the Neo slide plus they having a very good smooth, and that's a small clip from Justin, and that will give a bit of opening a handicap advantage to Wuffeli over 3 seconds. But like I said, on this map it's never over, as we saw. Yeah, just like that. Thank you for the awesome example right there. And mistakes are very punishing, and that's one mistake can cause you multiple seconds here on this map. So, and this looks like it's gonna be a match evening out score for Team Beta, as Justin managed to secure this map. Round number 7 on the mini RPG map. We have seen that Justin... Wait, where did Wuffeli go? Hello? Okay, Wuffeli got a bit confused, seems like it. That's giving another very good opening hand to Justin. But will Justin be able to use this opportunity that's given to him by Wuffeli right now? The gap is already 9 seconds. That's huge. And but still, different kind of bonks can still happen. And looks like Justin's... Oh no, oh no. But I think this will be enough. Maybe. Yes, this will be enough. And that will be now we're entering a map point for Team Beta actually with this. These small mistakes from Wuffeli managed to give Team Beta the small upper hands that they actually do need to, so we go on the tiebreaker. Wuffeli opting for that a bit outside line, giving this opportunity to take this one jump, as he takes a bit of an outside line, and yes, he does clips, and as long as Justin does not, let's say, pull whatever kind of thing, and that will be a point for Team Beta. Meanwhile, let's say where's Wuffeli. He's still trying to fight it out, but 12 seconds, even 13 seconds is just bit too much. And that's gonna be a point for Team Beta, and we're going on the... Actually, we're going on the... Boom, timebreaker. So every single match will have the same map order, and if it comes down to this map, it can end on this map. Map 5, Nadio, the tiebreaker map. Who will be the one? We do see that Yekcosdo is wafting in. Yeah, Yekcosdo will be opting in on the Nadio map, since as Yekcosdo mentioned that he favors the tech-like style maps, and this having kinda like tech-like feel, but it's more like inflated block tech. So it still has like this, gives like this new kind of feeling off with the tech, a bit of like advanced kind of. This map isn't too punishing. It just all comes down on how well executed the lines will be. Of course, trying to avoid their time is gonna be very, very important in this map, especially in the later parts of the map. So we will see that who will be the winning team on this map. Round 1 on the tiebreaker, as we see that Justin forgets to press the gas button at the start, thus giving him already a small disadvantage, and Yekcosdo is already in a 0.6 lead. In this section, there's a very interesting part that this fragile block, if you actually do slide, it does actually reduce your grip with the fragile block. And just like that, we do see that Yekcosdo has fallen off, but he has way more exit speed, and that will give Justin a bit of a challenge to catch up as soon as... Ah, no, that's rip. And especially getting caught on the inside that part of the line, and looks like Justin is a bit molding, and that will be a free point for Yekcosdo. Yekcosdo getting that first point on the very last map gives this a bit of like confidence that okay, I can maybe do this. But we do see that Justin is maybe can also do a decent pace as well, but he just needs to get this right mentality, and it should be all Gucci. But again, he's giving the handicap to Yekcosdo as he bonks the wall, and hopefully Justin will notice this and will stop molding and use this opportunity that's giving him to buy the Portuguese player. And will he be able to clutch this out and secure this point even with the mistake? Oh no, he bit bumps out, but Yekcosdo, he's flying in his direction, and get he caught up. They're basically even kinda in this turn, but Yekcosdo gets the third time. This might be secured point for Justin unless he bonks the CP. This should not CP, I mean finish, but this might be. Yes, this is a free point for Justin. Round 3 coming out on the last map. Both players actually making out quite a bit of mistakes. Yekcosdo getting this very weird, awkward entry as Justin gets it a bit better, but awkward airtime a bit there that makes him lose a bit speed, and that will give up to Yekcosdo a bit more exit speed. And let's see if he manages it. He takes a very nice line, okay, a decent line to this, but Justin is going to the molding gang, and looks like this is maybe not his day. Meanwhile, Yekcosdo is still going on his last finish straight on trying to figure out and clutch it out for the win. And that is a bot, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, on the actual round, we do see that Yekcosdo is again getting a proper lead, and where did Yekcosdo go? Dude, that's not the way where you need to go, man. And Justin says, yes, I know the way, and drives actually the right direction, and he must secure the point for his match. Meanwhile, Yekcosdo is trying to catch up as much as we can, but it's 4 seconds. It looks like, yeah. Now it looks like Yekcosdo is joining the molding gang. Now we're going 2-2, and round number 5 on the tiebreaker. Yekcosdo getting a very awkward line and almost goes for the weird outside perspective that actually gives Justin a very rare case have seen on this map, that Justin actually taking the lead on the start of the map. But can he maintain it? He has been very consistent on the bumpy section, and oh, that's a very weird applause. I think he touched the wall and bit slid out a bit, getting the fragile a bit effect. And Yekcosdo is meanwhile popping off in the very first places, getting a very sick exit speed, but can he maintain actually very weird mid lane there. Meanwhile, Justin have a very nice exit speed, but this looks like it might be a point for Yekcosdo and Team Alpha. Yekcosdo needs just 2 points, and he secures a victory for his team in the show match. As Justin says, yes, here you are, and gives already a small handicap in the place where you do need a lot of extra speed. And let's see if can Justin, because we have seen quite a bit of mistakes today, and so anything can still happen. It can be 4, 3 seconds or 1 second, but yeah, I don't think this is gonna be happening. The good old molding gang comes back, and this looks like a free point for Yekcosdo and Team Alpha. This might be the... And we're, ladies and gentlemen, we're entering match point. Yekcosdo just needs to finish 1 round in front of Justin, and he secures a victory in the show match. Starting up the map, you actually see that Justin somehow survives, gets airtime, still gets exit speed somewhat, but still it's in this battle. 0.2 difference, it's not much. Yekcosdo actually getting a very nice line there, and here as well, but actually gets it very smooth. Justin gets a very unlucky landing, and has actually a speed penalty from that, but Yekcosdo is still popping off, and looks like this might be a point. Match point for Yekcosdo and Team Alpha in the show match. That's GG.